I need that link. Oh, jeez. I need that link. Do we have settings? Yeah. Where do I get to the link? Copy video URL. Does that... Doesn't bring it up in YouTube Studio, right? Yep, perfect, right there. Nice. Paste it right there. Minimize, open, minimize, maximize. Yep. And then I gotta go to my own thing. Hello, classified. Sorry about that. We're getting there. YouTube, that's unusual. For several reasons, would probably, like, I think, prefer to do it on YouTube. But I don't want to, I don't feel like explaining right now. Okay, I'm practicing first a little bit. So I'm just gonna put on Spotify, but I'll do in-game music once I do attempts. I just want to check some of the, like, my aptitude on some of the hardest attacks first real quick. So I'm sorry that everybody's names are different, and yeah, it might be a little weird. Spotify being picked up? No. Okay, let's go. I would love to make the chat full screen. I didn't really check that out. Like how to do that. Oh, there we go. Did it. Let me be more selective on this. I want chill. Oh, he's kind of chill. Okay. 3QP. Is there a way? There is a way. But I don't know that I have it set up. I'm just gonna play stuff that I can easily direct to. It's just so I don't have to worry about that. Oh yeah, I was on the playlist tab right here. Okay. I'm just gonna listen to One Shot soundtrack. This is Stars 3. This is like the main difficulty attack. However, I think I might have figured out the best like pattern of dodging that no matter what the pattern is, kind of, whoops, holds out no matter what you do. There, like, that was like a simple mistake, easily avoidable. But basically you want to, hold on, I can't talk while dodging a difficult pattern. You want to go in an upside down U shape, more or less, going from the bottom left corner to the bottom right corner. You might not need to go all the way, and the rate that you travel, like the speed of travel, may not be consistent, but you can, doing so avoids surprise bullets. I can't really explain how, but dodging in that pattern, it just sort of prevents you. Yeah, it just sort of prevents stray bullets from coming your way. Some still may, but not too many. And you can see them coming. Since you're doing more or less the same thing every time, it becomes like variations in the pattern stand out just that much more. Variability becomes much more obvious because the variability overall is not as much as if you had no plan. Okay, let me actually fully focus, because I'm getting hit more than I should be, but I can tell that I'm not in the zone at all yet. Oh wait, I forgot there's like a factor to this method of dodging that I'm not utilizing all the way. I can wait for the bullets to almost come and hit me before I start moving out of the bottom left corner. That time I did not do that. I don't have to do that, but that just decreases the density and and crossing of bullets that might be confusing. Yeah, I mean, like, it's just night and day. Every other possible method I was trying and dodging that, nothing is as consistent as that. Okay, lock in on this. I'm not locked in yet. That was extremely silly. I should be preventing myself from even ending up on the top half of the box altogether. I don't strictly have to, but things just feel significantly more awkward on the top half of the box. Although, I don't know if I care that much. I haven't cared so much recently. I don't think that's why I just got hit at all, actually. I feel okay on stars 3. I don't want to like mess up my approach, so I'm just gonna leave it where it is. I don't think it's gonna get much more consistent. For now, this practice is always a little bit good one. feeling good. I'm not gonna overdo it. Let's see. Okay. Little cheesy because of the hitbox leniency, but what can you do? Ah, that was perfect to target someone who was waiting to go over top that straying bullet that needed to just... It needed to separate from the top of the bullet box just a little bit for me to be able to skirt by, but in doing so, there was a bullet aimed directly for me if I was waiting to do that, so I needed to be aware. Should have just cut below it. There's like just a terrible idea in general to stall for that long when you're in the middle of arcing active movement of the whatever, like doing... I need to follow the pattern. I can't slow down that much because there's just always going to be the risk of bullets behind you. How to have the pre-patch? You're able to download. There's like a website where you can download old patches of Steam games. If you just search, if you literally do any search of like how to install past versions of Steam games, the website should come up. I'm in the middle of a temp, so I don't want to check right now. But I had to follow a YouTube tutorial. It's a little bit involved, but ultimately not too terribly difficult. Just not intuitive or like it's easy, but you have to like be told what to do. Why did I like? All I needed to do was just hang out above that bullet. Don't know why I just thought I could go under it. I just kind of sandwiched myself. Okay, easily avoidable. What's the website called? Actually, I'd have to just show a YouTube tutorial. Down patch Steam games. Depot downloader, is this what it was? I think this is the video that I followed. I'm gonna say this is the video that I followed. Is the best I can give. Oh, there we go. You're welcome. And you'll be able to have multiple versions of the game. You're just gonna launch. Actually, I think they just have a folder of the updated patch version, or of like the current patch version, in a folder nested in the regular directory. Like you could have 2 folders in the directory to contain a copy of the updated current version of the game and a folder with the down patch version of the game. And you can just swap out like either one, you have both obviously folders at the same time, and one of the folders will be unpacked at a time, and you can just switch between the two. I think they explained in the video. I don't know if that verbally made sense. Oh, I'm missing the crits. Oh. this is harder than Omega Flowey no-hit. Ooh. It's been so long since I did that for the first time. It is pretty much impossible for me to compare. That I was less, put it this way, I was less, like, good at these games, or, like, I was, like, less good, or I had less skill in general back when I did no-hit Flowey, and I was able to do that in, I believe, under 25 hours no-hit. I've spent well over 100 hours on this boss, like, no doubt, or at least over, like, 80. But I'm pretty sure I'm over 100 hours on this boss. I'll mind you, not consistent, like, playing. Not playing every day, not, like, really trying to... If I played more consistently and tried, like, made a greater short-term effort, I would boost my skill and probably gain consistency I haven't seen yet faster. I want to say it shouldn't be harder than no-hit Flowey. It's just the learning you have to do is different. The skills you need to acquire are a bit different. With Flowey, it's more like adaptability and like prediction. Like being able to predict the worst thing that could happen next. The hardest part of Flowey is the phase 7 attack transitions, and that doesn't really, I mean, yes, like the mechanical skill of dodging like is a factor, but mainly it's like positional awareness, knowing and like having effective strategies for dodging different attacks and different scenarios. And what am I doing, by the way? I think I talked too much. Anyways. Okay. I'll try to focus more. Will I ever go back to the Endless Night? I'm more doubtful with every passing day. I'm more than content leaving it where it was at this point. Like, there is a small part of me that would think it's satisfying to do max percent deathless, but I don't think I can find much of a reason to care so much to take on that effort. Not at the moment anyways. I know people have continued to make mods, and I do feel bad because I was like the main mod player, but I think I'm just kind of over the game. I don't want to return out of a like, feeling of obligation in any way. Moved the wrong way to get hit by the sword circle. The spiral sword tunnel has just gotten more awkward recently, and I haven't brought any attention to it in practice. I could probably fix my issues in like 5 minutes, but I have not put in the effort. I'm just like, well, I only gotta dodge it once. But slow souling that attack does not feel good anymore. When it used to. I don't know what happened. Any reason for not using Twitch? I forget what the main reason is. I explained it to Legs and I explained all my reasonings to Legs and VC like last weekend. I like don't feel like going on the 20 minutes of like rambling about it. I don't really remember what I said. I just remember concluding, you know what? I think YouTube is probably, like, for my purposes, good enough, and maybe even slightly better. I don't know, I just kind of doubt how many people even actively use Twitch anymore. And I really don't like the ad system. Now, I know I am not an affiliate, so I'm pretty sure it doesn't affect me at all. If I ever got, like, popular to a greater extent, or anything like that, again, I probably prefer it to be on YouTube. Streaming 1440p also, I mean, I guess that's a pretty neutral but yet solid reason as to stream on YouTube. The bitrate cap is way higher. I don't really care about Twitch emotes and stuff. I don't... I don't know. I just feel like everyone who watched me on Twitch is also on YouTube, and a lot of people who didn't ever go to my Twitch, it's like more easily and readily accessible on YouTube for those people. But I mean, I don't even think many people like care anymore. But, and I know YouTube and Twitch are both not good, but I guess for other reasons, Twitch is easier to not support as well. But I'm sorry that everyone's names on YouTube are gonna be fucking different, so that's gonna be yeah, that's gonna be annoying. But low-key, it, like, brings a bit of comfort to me, because there's definitely people who probably hope I remember them, and I just wouldn't buy their Twitch username at this point, because it's been so long, and this circumvents that issue. That's a secret bonus. I personally just never go on Twitch myself. That's like a main thing where I guess there's a lot of like small to medium reasons that I really don't even, and maybe ought not to explicitly state. But yeah, I don't think it's that offensive of me to stream on YouTube. Not that anyone was implying that, but I don't think it's like, shouldn't be a huge deal. It's just a different link. It's not, and if you actually care to watch, then I mean, the effort, the difference in effort is not going to be a deterrent, I don't believe. Would have preferred not to get so close, but I promise it's pre-patch. I can, like, after the attempt, I will have a moment to where I can bring up the menu once I get out of the battle and through the cutscene. I will be able to press C, open the menu, and go back to title screen, and in the bottom left, or I think the bottom left, it'll say the game version. So that's a way for me to easily prove what version I'm playing on. Woo. Without having to minimize the game or anything. I wonder if the diagonal patterns of the teeth are predictable by the angle of the slice. You know what I mean? I don't think so, but to be honest, I haven't really tried paying... Holy fuck. I actually wasn't paying close enough attention to see where to go. Stream's been dropping a lot of frames. Oh shit. I mean, I'm streaming at a super high bit rate. Oh, what the fuck? Huh? Okay, it's struggling to keep up the bitrate, I guess. At least it's dropped 38% of frames. That's actually so bad. What? And the bitrate is looking very inconsistent. In fact, yeah, it's in the red. Dog, what the fuck? Wait, why? Can I change bitrate while streaming? I thought you can. Yes, you can. Let's go. Maybe I'm just trying to stream at too high of a bitrate. Could be. Okay, I changed it. Maybe I should put it at balanced instead of quality. Okay, we'll see how this holds up. I think this actually might be fun. Thank you so much for letting me know. On YouTube, you can stop stream from own and words. Oh! Oh, I think I just removed a frame of input lag. I decreased the bitrate by 10,000. That apparently was applying a little too much pressure on the system. Fair enough. Don't think so. Yeah, I like, but yeah, with the T3 with the diagonals, I don't think the angle of the red like slash indicator lets you know what pattern is coming. I'm fairly sure of that. No, because that would also have to translate. I would assume if there was no variability, like random meaningless variability in that, it would also track with the horizontal and vertical slashes, which I know it does not. Well, I'm at least quite confident it doesn't. But I can't say I've like analyzed any particular similar angle to see if the pattern is the same. Stream is smoother now? Okay, cool. It's true, the Endless Night arc was really insular. But it was a good time. And special in its own way. How do I feel about Silksong? I believe it is quite a freaking good game. I would say, well, in its current state, I can't say I like it more than regular Hollow Knight because, like, of the Hollow Knight DLC. Hold on, I can't fucking talk. But we need a God Home equivalent in Silksong. Like, that shit needs to come out. It needs to come out. People really so badly want that. I know it's so simple, and not really anything greatly new if it were to be added. But god damn it, I want to master all of the bosses, and I need an easy hub arena to do so, please. But I think the soundtrack was better, or at least on par. The movement was a step up and is preferable to me. I think I still haven't actually, I've taken a decent break from the game. I was thinking I was going to do a big challenge in it alongside Akara, but I decided that is not what I want to do. What I want to commit to. This has actually been what I feel like doing. I guess it's hard for me to like have ready to go thoughts about Silksong because I haven't thought about it much or played it much in a bit, but just from my recollections, the vibes when playing it, oh, like on my first playthrough, goddamn. No, I think it's definitely a step up. It is like it is such a step up, and I prefer the movement and like attack methodology. The speed, the movement abilities. I think I've seen some people complain that it's like not dynamic enough. I don't think I agree with that. There is already a mod for it. I was thinking there might be. Let's get a mod for adjusting your upgrades. Oh yeah, I mean, so long as I already have debug mode, so I can easily change my like damage parameters and like what abilities I have and stuff. So if I just run with that and the mod, then I can, okay. I still got to do Steel Soul though, since I decided I'm not going to do a big self-imposed challenge. At least yet. Then I'm good, okay. Nice. I might adjust the stream delay in the future because I have it set to normal right now. I was trying to maximize stability, but my bitrate kind of crushed that. However, I think I can put it on low latency mode, if not ultra low latency, in the future, so that like chat interaction is a little faster. Although I'm not sure, because like I really shouldn't have chat interaction be such a focus of what I'm doing. I know it might sound mean, but I've just realized I can't actually make significant progress in what I do unless I ignore chat in certain times. Or don't give, like, the answer that's dumping all of my thoughts about the subject. That's apparently the only answer I'm capable of giving 9 times out of 10. Okay. I haven't gotten hit like that in so long that I'm actually like in awe. Wow. I'm not even like mad. I'm just like that happened. I could feel myself being a little lax with like my speed of the inputting, but okay. This session is not going amazingly. We'll see if I can turn it around soon. Otherwise, I might just have to step away and come back. And streaming on YouTube, like, I might just not care about having multiple streams in a day that are like, very short. It just feels less like official, like I'm trying to do something by streaming. When I'm streaming on Twitch, it feels like you're supposed to be doing something. You're supposed to be like cultivating something, or at least that be minded in that way, and like at all. But on YouTube, I don't feel that inclination. I feel like I can just be sloppy and it can be whatever. It's probably just because I like built up a certain invisible rule set that I'm supposed to follow in my head when it comes to Twitch streaming. Normally people say the opposite, really? Yeah, it's definitely just my connotation with Twitch that does not carry over because I'm streaming on a different platform. On my eventual to-do list, I need to use that custom controller input display website to make to like recreate my no board profiles. I think I should still be, I don't know like the extent of the customization, but I should be able to make a hard shape again. Might even be easier and less tedious than no board, because honestly, no board is like, in certain ways, so stupid. Thanks, Ashes. Alright, lock in. But I can't stand knowing that my 1 and 2 frame inputs can just be dropped by the software. Like, that is very annoying. And that other, you know, custom controller input display creation website, I'm almost positive does not have that problem. I believe it runs at 60 FPS and there's no detection issues. It actually might run at a higher frame rate. That might even be customizable. When did I start enjoying such difficult challenges? Did I do it for the achievement or something? I'm gonna answer that after this attempt. But I am interested in answering that. I will say the origins, it may have begun, hold on. May have begun at 8 years old when I was addicted to the world's hardest game. The red square dodging blue circle game. Sometimes having to collect the yellow circles. Addicted is a strong word, that's an exaggeration. I always sort of liked mechanically difficult, simple concept, like precision-oriented games. Easy to learn, hard to master. The feeling it evokes and the satisfaction of knowing you truly did something difficult. Oh shit, I didn't realize it turned red. That was, yeah. I think I probably need to practice more. Okay. In actuality, wait, I have dropped some frame. Have I actually dropped some frames since changing the bitrate? Or did I not just reset? Oh wait, no. I've only a little bit. That's from the totality of the whole stream. I see. Okay, I'm gonna open my other version of the game. Practice version. Okay. We need to do some stars 3. I need to get that. Maybe I need to understand a bit more nuance on that. But it really, the first difficult challenge, like really difficult challenge I ever did was after I no-hit all of the Undertale bosses at 1x speed, I looked up other no-hits, and what I saw were 1.5 speed no-hits of Undyne in the first phase of Sans by the YouTube channel No Hit Runs, and in the description of that Sans phase 1 only 1.5 speed no-hit video, the description said he deemed the rest of the fight impossible for no hit. And I was like, I just wanted to see how that held up in my view. And I spent 80 hours over the course of a couple, like, or 80 plus hours probably. I didn't really calculate it, but I spent a quite considerable effort over 2 months before finally achieving that. I was the first person to do it. And then it just felt natural to want to do other challenges, like pioneering, like first ever challenges where I didn't know how difficult it was going to be, but I just knew that it was something that nobody had done before, breaking new grounds. And I think I'm someone where it takes a lot for me to like feel accomplished. So I need to do something that is downright brutal for me to get much satisfaction out of executing well. I found that the exhilaration of getting far attempts was hooking emotionally, psychologically in a certain way. But practicing, I really found enjoyment in discovering my own strategies and approaches to the hardest obstacles in a run. And it gives you a whole new perspective and appreciation of the game. But I think I always liked the hard, precision-oriented stuff because, like I said, when I was 8 years old, I didn't take to many things, but I found the world's hardest games on addicting games, not cool math games, believe it or not. And I just remember, I don't know over how many days it was, but I remember my death count being like 800 plus on, I think, my first or second session, only on level 10. And I just couldn't give that up. I could not give up. It's hard for me to want to quit. It's hard for me to say that something is impossible and believe it for whatever reason. All of the ramble I just had, all of those factors together, something about it. The feeling of accomplishment when you beat a challenge that you thought you doubted yourself on, at least a little bit. The doubt, like proving your past doubt wrong is so, it brings a feeling that I couldn't otherwise achieve, or that I hadn't experienced in my life before. Might sound like a little, I can't think of a better word. It might sound a little pathetic because it's about video games. I don't think it actually is. But obviously you cannot consistently get that hit of elation, of victory. Like it has to be well fought for, it's hard earned. Like obviously speedrunning as a concept, for some reason that didn't interest me as much as like no hit challenges, deathless challenges, or something like that, like perfection type challenges, because the perfection challenges you can actually win at, whereas speedrunning you can sort of win at, but it's not like an ultimate win. You never are going to get the perfect time unless you're tying the tasks in a game where there's like frame rules in Super Mario Bros. 1. That's theoretically possible, but that is in its own right like an insane perfection challenge more than a like speedrun, like perfect speedrun. But it is both. Yeah, I just prefer the challenges you can complete and be done with. It's like you go through like you create your own like course with it, with your learning over time, and your perception of the game is just altered forever. The story, like there's a certain story that you have to go through that doesn't really change unless your strats change significantly when you do runs. Like the run is like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like a story in a way, and there's certain parts that are coming that you're like stressed about. I don't know if this is the best way to put it, but I don't know. I'm just kind of saying whatever. And you get attached to, because the game is like the same no matter what. It's just your approach is different, and it forces you to see the game in a very unique way. And I like feeling optimized when doing something. I don't know. Anyways. Okay. Interestingly, in my late stage challenge gaming arc, spanning like, it was like 3 years where I was like more or less consistently doing challenge runs. Towards the end of that, I became a little cynical and like disillusioned in a way, because I saw it that I could do whatever I wanted. It was just a matter of time. I started to like lose the meaning and value of the journey of completing something. Like, I started to care about the time frame in which I did it a little too much, and it was hard to let go. But even with being able to sort of let that go a bit, I still was like, what's the point when like there's so many challenges I could theoretically do, but I cannot do all of them. I can't complete everything, and I don't want to pressure myself to, because that makes each individual challenge seem less important. You have to, I don't know what the fine line is. I started to feel like nothing was impossible. And there were points where I was never actually motivated enough to do something that would take 500 plus hours guaranteed. One day, in my lifetime, I would like to do some sort of gaming challenge that requires that. I'd prefer it to be like a first ever thing, but which it most likely would be, but I don't know what or when, if it's ever going to happen. But I also, like, what got me was feeling like I think if I think about it deeper, what really disillusioned me was the subtle feeling that I internalized, or the subtle internalization of I needed to one-up myself every time. I couldn't see the point in doing challenges that were a couple steps easier than the hardest I had done before. And that just became exhausting. I had to one-up myself further is to have to super hard grind and learn a whole bunch more again. And getting the consistency. Like, I started to be burdened by the thought of having to learn so much and then also get consistent at it. The very system of doing it when a challenge run is a certain duration, like 30 minutes plus, it's just it's a lot to swallow. What's up, Cyber Gamer and Goldian? I know it is a little crazy to be here. Yeah, like, I think something about having like an achievement hunting mindset, and like especially like an escalating one, you're just on a track to burn out eventually, and that's definitely what happened to me. Like, no doubt about it. I also started a job, so like that I think I got there faster because of that. But you have to like it has to come from like loving the game, for me anyways. That's really what it's just. I love a game so much, and it feels like my contribution to it. Not that I'm like doing it for the sake of contributing, but I want to, it's like a natural evolution to me of if the game doesn't challenge me that much in its own right, but I really like the game, then the only way for me to get replay value out of the game is to do self-imposed challenges where I set like limiting parameters. And then I'm sort of building a new game with like new rules on top of it. But with the core elements that I love. The what's next can be exactly what I was getting at. Yep, exactly. Okay, or let me just read that out. The what's next question can be a killer when you don't have anything else that you love to choose for the next run. And I think that's what was happening for me. I wasn't, because of like my approach to games, I really don't try new games that much. I really take to a particular game, and then I just want to find ways to get replay value out of that for as long as I can squeeze it for. And for some reason, my instinct is to do it in the way that you have seen. I think, I mean, I was influenced starting by those original no-hit challenges that I saw in Undertale that inspired me greatly. And then I feel like I continued like a story from that starting point, and it became engaging enough to want to keep up for a while. But I will say, if I played more games and loved more games, I don't really know what I would feel in terms of a challenge game sense. I don't even know if I would be the type of gamer that I am. Because I think I would just like to play a variety of games and experience and learn like new games, new rules, etc. But I don't. I just like the process of refinery is, I don't know. I get something out of it that I think a lot of people don't. I don't know how to explain what that is, or I'm not even sure I know. Other people don't seem to get similar enjoyment out of practice, strat finding, and like consistency refining like I do. I think it's a kind of lucky from the sentiments I've seen shared by a lot of people who explicitly don't relate to my mindset. They reach a snag of like playing a lot, like it, or putting the time in and not seeing there not being like obvious markers of improvement is discouraging. It's kind of it's complicated. Anyways, I don't think I got much more value to ramble about off the top of my head right now. I know there's no music. I don't plan to stay on this for too long. Can I dodge it like 15 times in a row-ish? See, like, this is going so smooth now. Yeah, it's just like nothing's even coming my way. Like, at all. Maybe I do need to rush it. Maybe slow moving isn't the play with this type I don't think slow moving is the play. Unless I'm forced to. In some, with like certain variability. But I did read your message. I'm just going to say Phoenix. I don't know how to pronounce. But I'm glad you can relate. That, like, that is a true concept. And it is a valid way of playing games. Like I've noticed that dodging strictly along the border kind of does work out at least decently well majority of the time. However, it doesn't always work out perfectly. Whoops. You have to have some element of being able to see what's coming before it's coming. Nah, hesitated too much there. But I think in general it is good to just constant move. I think it's better to just react by double backing if I notice I'm about to run into something, instead of slow moving and then something catching up to me. Just from my recent practice, not on this stream. I'm pretty sure that's true. Wow. But maybe I could incorporate slow moving. Wait, I think I'm fucking up by waiting. Actually. Or am I? No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. How long does the no-hit last? It's like about 20 minutes. 85-ish turns, depending on my damage. Like how many crits I miss. It's 15 turns to get through every variation of every attack, and then it starts repeating all the 5 phase 3 attacks over and over again. I somehow didn't realize I was like too close to that. That was very, very, very avoidable. I think my awareness is the thing that's got to increase. I don't know if... Like, dodging ability, like, that's definitely the bottleneck on this. Wait, simply after saying that, everything becomes so clear? Yeah, hold on. Five more. Every time I set a parameter, I feel like I start doing worse because I have to count. Or every time I set like a certain number in a row I'm supposed to do no hit, I like can never do it the moment I set the condition. It's so much easier to dodge when it's just like, I only have to dodge this. Just this one instance. That was never ever happening. What am I thinking? I tried too hard to like shoehorn being in the bottom left. Like, I don't actually get how I got hit that time. I don't think a bullet actually hit me. I think it was the outline of the big star. It, like, drifted way more than seemed like it should have. Even though, obviously, it did what it was supposed to. I guess just don't flirt with getting close to the big ones because their hitboxes are a little more indistinct. And because of all the opacity, overlapping crap, the big one, being near the big ones, like, just makes visibility a little bit worse inherently. Already. Did I lose my concentration? Yeah, I'm constantly fighting for my concentration. That's just always been a factor, I feel like, when doing runs. What actually hit me there? Was it actually a bullet? I wasn't paying enough attention. The problem is I don't have full confidence in my strategy on this. Like, that really is the biggest problem. I'm trying to adhere to a strategy that, like, isn't... Okay, I knew I was doing something wrong there, like, actively before I even got hit. Scratch that one. Okay, don't shoehorn being in the bottom left. However, I don't know what to do from there. I think there's a way to find... There's always a way to find a way to get close-ish to the bottom left. I don't need to be, like, directly in it. But I gotta be somewhat close by and move past it. That way of dodging was not what I expected to do. I'm just a full believer this can be almost entirely consistent. This is the type of thing where most people would be like, are you fucking stupid or crazy? Like, obviously not. But I have a stronger hope that, like, of what's possible for whatever reason. Because there's nothing obviously preventing it. Is the thing. It's all within my control. Like, so many of these things are within my control. There's got to be some deeper understanding that might not be obvious, but there's got to be some deeper understanding of the attack that you can leverage to make it the easiest possible scenario every time. Or, like, within variability, of course. Like, there's still hard patterns that... Or, like, hardest patterns that you can't entirely trivialize, but you can make less difficult. For sure. Stuff like that. That's what disheartens me the most. Is when I move into something I saw coming a second and a half ahead of time, and I don't react for whatever reason. But there was like no... I wasn't walled or forced into moving there. It's because I was trying to adhere to my made-up pattern too much. And... it's the fine line between focusing on executing my strategy as close to the book as possible, or as close to by the book as possible, versus like dodging this individual pattern. There was no way to squeeze like that. Is this the most difficult attack? For me, I think it is. Most of the time, it's not that hard to dodge. Sometimes it just is. It's hard for me to really say. I believe I'd be able to consistently dodge other attacks, all the other attacks more. Something about certain patterns on this one, I just pick a bad approach for and make it way worse to dodge than it needed to be later, like on the Afterlife Bullets portion. Maybe I need to combine more factors that help from, like, past scrapped strats. I think extending the vertical for a little bit of time is worthwhile, but then rushing as soon as you go horizontal. You start rushing it, and you might have to cut in front of the pattern at certain points. Ooh. Depending on the variability. Yeah, definitely need to also incorporate just, if I can, delay the up travel even just a little bit. Oh man, it decreases the density invaluably. It was clearly drifting there. I definitely should have seen that coming. Weirdly, the worst aspect of this attack to me is the drifting of the bullets after the stars explode, which I know is, like, that's just normal. That's just what normally happens. And yet, it's the fact that it drifts and then all of a sudden turns red and then aims at you. And it kind of like retracts or like moves a bit. In aiming at you, it kind of shifts a little bit. I don't know why that... It's the part that I pay attention to, like focused attention to the least. But actually gets in the way more often than I acknowledge. Rules card. I know. It's the shortest way I could... It is the shortest way I could do the title. Without super outright spoilers, too. I might get it. I might know the truth. Something nearly hit me that I was blind to the entire time. I only saw the TP outline. I think the answer to this is to be more open-minded and loose about the approach. Like, I have a loose structure, but it needs to... I need to shut up. But it needs to come down to dodging the pattern for what it is and not strictly adhering to pre-decided rules that don't apply to every pattern. Because the rules card is the knight, I believe. I'm really looking for difficult patterns on this, though, because, like, easy patterns are just easy. Like that. The difficult patterns are where, like, I learn what maybe trivializes difficulty a bit. the corner of the fucking star, brother. The corner of the fucking star, brother. I need to not bank on that it's gonna explode at the moment I hope it does. I need to hope as little as possible and actually be, like, closer to sure, if not sure. I could probably practice this for 20 hours without ever doing attempts and still, like, wouldn't quite be satisfied enough to attempt. I have to accept a level of fallibility on this. That's really the difficult part. I get so obsessive, and then, like, I sort of catastrophize how bad I am at it after practicing for too long. And then I start to do well, but then I know that if I go and do attempts, I'm going to become disappointed or discouraged when I realize whatever I was doing in practice does not feel as instinctual or natural in actual attempt setting. It's such as the nature of like a randomized high variability attack, high variability of difficulty attack for that matter. That doesn't have a clear approach, an obvious solution, one size fits all type thing. Three more. What is this run? Oh, I thought you were thinking this was an actual run. It is quite difficult. Okay, there we go. Actual attempts. Again, I'll see if I can get anything. Wait, let me change the song. Very quickly, and I can do it very quickly because I have variations at the ready. Whoops. Okay. Why don't I make a TikTok account to upload some of my challenges or upload some things I like? I don't know. That doesn't outright sound appealing, but I'm not sure the reasons. Off rip. think, well, reason one, I think I'm like, don't want to put the effort in, even though it would be not that hard. But also, I don't know what I'd have to be able to make decisions of what I thought was valuable enough to make like a short about. And the burden of like thinking of considering what those things are, my knee-jerk reaction is like, that is, I don't know, my standards might be too high. I guess if there were like cool little clip-worthy moments, where I actually like felt good about myself with my play. I don't know, like I did like a cool save or something, like maybe that's the only thing I can think of off the top of my head that I would maybe upload. I don't know. I just don't really care about trying. You know what? What am I saying? The main reason is I don't want to actively try to cultivate popularity. And I'm not even that I don't even think I would get that significantly popular from that. But like obviously I'm streaming and I want to show my gameplay to some degree, but something about putting effort into like social media popularity or anything like that, I can't put my finger on it exactly, but I don't like it. Not that I judge other people for it. I think I have to think longer about this. I also don't want to receive negative comments about like, I don't even know, like if someone just does not like me and and like some expression I have, like what I say or like how I say it, or I don't want to be a spectacle to be like judged after the fact. If someone comments something on stream, it's not as bad because I have the opportunity to like reply in the moment. Or in shorter terms, I don't want irrelevant like hate comments, which I know I would open Pandora's box with posting on TikTok at all. Yeah, someone will find some bad and yeah, they're like looking. Sad thing is I don't think people realize they're doing it, but they condition themselves to make a critical comment by default, and some people are less reserved in their rudeness. or just less conscientious in general. It's the boss's theme song. I definitely utilized the max leniency on that shit. Yeah, I'm fine to get hit there. I'm not in the mindset, unfortunately. Hate to admit it. Okay, and I am still like dropping frames a little bit. Like I reset my dropped frames count here, and it's at 6.9%, 7% just went to. That is not very good. I guess I need to adjust my settings further. I'm like confused as to why I would drop frames. Like, I imagine it wouldn't happen on Twitch. It's probably just trying to stream it too high quality. I mean, it's just as simple as that, most likely. But yeah, I don't know. Like this mind state that I decided to start playing in is just not the one, unfortunately. But that's why you step away, come back, and then you have a new brain, or somewhat reshuffled, newish brain. But the knowledge is still kind of there. I want to share like a thought, like maybe it's not that novel, but like about like deltarune theory wise, sort of. So deltarune, breaking down, I think maybe theorists have already, like theory videos have already maybe shared this, but I haven't seen anyone say it like fully on the nose like this. But deltarune, when you break it down into its two words, delta and rune, delta means change, and rune means like some, okay, it's hard to, I don't know what best definition to give for rune. That's like the most agreeable simplified version. To me, it is something, but rune is something that does not change. It is like a special artifact that doesn't change. And that, what that gets me thinking of, and then when I think about the dichotomy, like, so it's literally like the changing unchangeable. Like, what? But I don't know that that's what it's trying to say. But it also is that kind of tracks with the prophecy, with like in fate not being changeable, but in a way is. That's not what I think, though. When I take the concept further and think of light and dark, and like what it means to be in the light world versus the dark world. In the light world, in your real light, well, no, wait, I just realized how what I thought before doesn't, it, oh no, it like kind of contradicts and it sort of falls apart. I don't know if I can continue the thought now. Let me think a little bit. Can it? you can like, I guess the point I was trying to make is like, you, maybe the light world is where, well, you can change based on events in the light world or the dark world. I was gonna say the light world is where change takes place, and the dark world is where you just engage like with what you love. But I guess I was trying to map on the concept of like light and dark world into our actual reality. Like, what does it mean when you draw the parallels? The dark world is like creativity, fantasy, taking all of the things that you like the positive connotations, uh, and like sinking yourself in, like setting out time in your space in your life to sink yourself into what you truly enjoy and not worry about, yeah, you can just like be how you are and not like worry about anything or worry about much. But then in the light world, you are forced to deal with things that you don't like. It's not all catered to you. It's not all preferable. I don't know where change comes in. Like last night, I had some brain blast about change and that happening in the real world versus not happening in escapism. But then deltarune is literally showing us how change can occur through like fantasy escapism time, and that's real. Like, your care and engagement with fiction can change you, but real life can also change you. I thought the concept of light and dark also like paralleled like the deltarune change and unchanged thing, but I realized that it actually does not. That's where I went wrong. But there's something about changes is like major theme. I don't know how deep it runs into so many aspects of the game, but I'm interested in where, yeah, and like how it's all fleshed out. I'm very interested. I feel like it will. I don't want to put the weight like this on the game necessarily, or put my expectations so high, but I really do think this game will be extremely encouraging once I see its conclusions, see it through to its conclusions. I mean, it already is, but I just really want to know what that supposedly novel idea Toby Fox had in his dream was. God damn it. Anyways, yeah. Thanks for watching. I will see you at a later time.